Without a doubt, playing Sonic or watching his movies are two incredibly fun things to do.
Dude, I'm standing right here.
But have you ever wondered what the characters from the Blue Hedgehog franchise would actually look like in real life?
In the saggy flesh.
For example, we know that Sonic is a hedgehog, but the truth is, blue hedgehogs don't exist in real life. But with today's technology, we can see how our hero would look if he actually existed. And we can see that it would be really cool if there was a hedgehog with blue fur and spikes in the real world. But when we imagine how Sonic would look as he grows into the hero we know, we can see he'd look a little different. In these images, for example, we can even see that his iconic red running shoes were added to make him look even more like the character. Beyond these completely animal-like versions of Sonic, some of his most passionate fans have had the brilliant idea of dressing up as Sonic and even creating videos acting as the character, much to the joy of those who love a good laugh. Contrary to what I imagined, in addition to the bizarre versions, there are also Sonic cosplays that are very cool and turned out amazing. Check out now with us the best real-life versions of Sonic characters you'll ever find. Get ready for another fun ride with Cinewave. If you watch the Sonic movie, you know that the Blue Hedgehog was raised by Longclaw. And this character only exists in the cinematic universe of the Blue Hedgehog since she doesn't appear in the games. But regardless, we can say that she's definitely one of the characters that actually exists in the real world. And how? Owls are expert hunters and have the ability to turn their heads almost 360 degrees. So if one night you happen to see an owl staring at you, remember Longclaw and be very cautious. Just like Sonic, Shadow is a hedgehog, but his fur and spikes aren't blue. They're black with red details, making him one of the coolest game characters for sure. And just like Sonic, the black hedgehog would be amazing if an animal with these features existed in our world. And besides these fan or AI-created versions, there are also fans of the character who dress up as him, and the results are simply incredible. Seriously, each cosplay is better than the last. They're amazing. But if you really want to know the human version of Shadow, it's simple. His name is Keanu Reeves, and he's going to voice the character in Sonic 3. There's probably no other character and actor who resemble each other as much as these two, both in behavior and looks. Seriously, it's like they were made for each other. Without a doubt, one of the most beloved characters in the Sonic universe is Amy Rose. Like the main character of the franchise, Amy is a hedgehog, but pink. And I have to say, it would be pretty awesome if there was a real animal version of her, because I think pink hedgehogs would be super cute. But beyond imagining Amy as an animal, we can also picture what she'd look like if she were human. And I have to tell you, unlike in the games and cartoons where Amy is head over heels in love with Sonic, but he doesn't give her much attention, if she appeared in real life, maybe he'd change his mind. The coolest part is that fans have even created replicas of the Pico Pico Hammer, the giant weapon the pink hedgehog wields in her adventures alongside her future boyfriend. And if you, like us, are rooting for the pink hedgehog and really want to see her and Sonic become a couple one day, comment below with #Amy. If you're familiar with the Blue Hedgehog beyond the movies, you probably know that there's another hedgehog character who comes from the future, and like Sonic and Shadow, he's also a hedgehog. His name is Silver. But unlike the main protagonist, Silver is silver-colored and has telekinetic powers. He even fights both Sonic and Shadow. And we can imagine what a real-life version of Silver would look like if silver-colored hedgehogs existed in the world. Unlike the other two characters, there actually are hedgehogs in the real world whose fur and spikes appear somewhat silver. Now we just need to find out if they have psychic powers too. What do you think? There are also some awesome silver cosplays out there. Tails is definitely the cutest and most balanced character among Sonic's friends. The interesting detail is that he's a two-tailed orange fox, something we don't actually see in the real world since foxes only have one tail. But just like Tails, small orange foxes in real life are quite adorable. However, that definitely wouldn't be too hard to imagine. But remember, foxes are wild animals, so never get too close to one, okay? There's also the airplane pilot version of Tails, which looks quite similar to his version from the cartoons and games, where he wears aviator goggles on his head. We can see exactly what it would be like if Sonic's buddy really existed in our world. And since he's one of the most famous characters in the Sonic universe, it's no surprise that he has tons of fans who love dressing up as him for Halloween or doing cosplay at pop culture events like conventions and meetups, and some of them turned out really awesome. If there's one Sonic character we know for sure what he'd look like in real life, it's Dr. Eggman Robotnik. That's because Jim Carrey almost perfectly embodied the biggest villain in the first movie and throughout the second Sonic film. But the truth is, the crazy scientist who is obsessed with capturing Sonic seems to be getting closer to his true form in the third movie, as it looks like he's gained the weight and shape that earned him the nickname Eggman from the Blue Hedgehog. In addition to Jim Carrey's hilarious portrayal in the movies, we've also got tons of fans who've been dressing up as Robotnik for years, creating lots of funny and entertaining cosplays. And if you're bald, have a big mustache, and own a cool red and black outfit, you can dress up as Dr. Eggman too. Oh, and if you're chubby and round, you'll look even more like him. Robotnik fans, because yes, even villains have fans, often reimagine him in other creative forms. What can we say? Less oval shape, perhaps. That's why you can also find versions of Robotnik that are stronger and less chubby, which also look really cool. Now here's a great tip for you. Click the subscribe button below and join our community of cartoon, movie, and gaming fans. Amy Rose isn't the only girl in the Sonic universe to win over fans of the Blue Hedgehog's cartoon and game franchise. That's because since her first appearance in Sonic Adventure 2 in 2001, many fans of the games have found her to be quite a cool character. Remember, she leads a double life as both a spy and a jewel thief, using her charm to achieve her goals, which are sometimes good and sometimes not so much. Rouge is a white bat with black wings, and the truth is, real bats are either black or white. Except for one species, the Honduran white bat, which is a mix of white, black, and yellow. So we can definitely say this species most likely inspired Rouge's creation. But aside from her real-world animal counterpart, we see that Rouge is an anthropomorphic character, meaning she has human-like features, which is why her fans love dressing up and cosplaying as her. And we have to admit, some of those costumes and cosplays look really cool. Of course, we couldn't leave out one of the main characters of the franchise, who even got his own series on Paramount Plus. Knuckles. Unlike Sonic and Amy, Knuckles isn't a hedgehog, but a distant relative of the species, an echidna. This distant cousin of Sonic exists only in Oceania, in places like Australia and New Guinea, and just like the character, they're way tougher than hedgehogs. A real-life version of Knuckles would basically look like a red spiked echidna that's always ready for a fight at any moment. There are also some real-life versions of Knuckles where people love to dress up as him, especially for Halloween. We also can't forget to mention some spectacular fan-made versions of Knuckles, which show him as a teenager or how he might look in real life. Seriously, some of them turned out incredible! Among the lesser-known characters in the Sonic world, the most famous is definitely Mighty the Armadillo. That's because this character was created even before the Blue Hedgehog, and the idea was for him to be the main character of the game. But Sonic was chosen, and Mighty ended up becoming a playable character in some of the Hedgehog's games. Mighty is a black armadillo with red accents, who's very fast and also has the ability to curl into a ball like Sonic. If he existed in the real world, he'd be just like in the games, an exotic and cool black armadillo with red accents. We also found a version of the character in cosplay that turned out really cool. Another character from the Sonic games with a big fan base, though not one of the main ones, is Vector the Crocodile. Owner of a detective agency, Vector is big and imposing, but at the same time, he's a pretty cool guy. If he existed in real life, he'd definitely be an interesting figure to see. After all, it's not every day you'd come across a crocodile wearing gold chains. He also has a cosplay and some drawings that are really cool. These real-life versions of Sonic characters are cooler than you probably imagined, right? We had a blast making this video, so if you want to keep having fun, it's simple. Click on one of the 2 videos that are now showing on your screen and keep hanging out with us. See you in the next video. Thanks, and catch you then.